Well, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the best way to take one of these birds and cut them up before you take it to the taxidermist. If you want to get a tail mount done like this, how I do it, I cut the tail off it. You need the beard. And if you want to do a skull that's boiled, you're going to need the head too. So I'm going to show you how to do that, where you can take this thing and you can breast him and cut the tail off, everything, so you ain't got to bring it to taxidermy just like this. And the best way to do this, how I do it, is I start with the beards. This one here happens to have 2 beards on it, but I'm just going to go down tight. If you go down here tight to where the skin is, and you cut below, you see the skin here, you cut below the skin, below the beards into the skin, just cut that right off, just like that. So now you've got your double beards. Then the best way to do it, when you cut the tail off it, these bottom feathers on the tail don't mean nothing. You don't need these feathers for anything. What you're looking for is the base of the feathers and the whole top part of this. You want this whole base because you need about 4 layers. If you see that, I've got 3 layers on there, but I like to take 4, cut them off tight. So what I do is I start right here at the bottom. Get this thing turned around here, and I cut these feathers right off the bottom of this. Cut them right straight down, just like that, right into the base. Now I take him, I see how I cut that off, so all these feathers are here, they're gone. Now I flip him over, now I cut underneath the bone. You can see how I open that right up there now. You got the whole tail right here in your hands. The bone is there, you're underneath it. Cut right underneath it. And when you go underneath it, you want to stay tight to his back and pull these feathers, skin right back. You want to just peel him just like you're gonna skin him. And what I'm doing is I'm taking layers. If you see this now, I've got about 4 layers already cut off. I'm going to keep going though. I always like to have extra. I like to give him extra. And once you think you got enough, just take this and cut it off. See all those feathers I have there? I got like 4 or 5 layers of feathers. That's what you need to take to the taxidermist, along with the beard. Okay, another thing I like to do, I don't do it on all of mine if they request it, if they got some pretty good spurs. Like this bird here actually has, 1 1/8, I think we measured them at. So a lot of times what you do, you take your saw and cut these spurs off on both sides, cut right through the bone, right through the bone. And a lot of times they like to take those, clean them up, and they'll hang them off this board. They'll hang them down here, or they'll glue them on here or something, so you got your spurs too if you got some decent spurs. So that's another thing you can do with it. Then if you want to get the skull boiled, you're going to need to cut this head off. It doesn't really matter how you do it, because that's all you're looking for is just the skull. So you can just whack him off anywhere across here, just bring the head in. And what they can do, they can boil that head and make it pretty neat like this. And these are pretty neat. I do a lot of these every year for guys. A lot of guys like this. It's a cheap way to mount your trophy on the wall. And instead of a full mount bird like this would be about $800. This here is about 125 bucks, so this is definitely the way to go. And I'm Ray Colvin, and that is your Tech Tip.
Hey everybody, be sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube.
Racks and Tracks is proud to be sponsored by these fine products.